What is one thing you hate about your country? So this one time I made a Twitter account cause I needed it, but because of where I'm from. Every single trends for you is about BTS. Ireland. Mental health services are atrocious here. They're either inaccessible, too expensive, or the therapists are not fully equipped to work with the complicated issues people have. Not saying there aren't good therapists and counseling services, which are usually charities that aren't government funded. But they can certainly be better. Our government. I live in Australia. The government's almost slavish love to the rich. I haven't been able to leave it. Help, I don't wanna live here. Indian here. Trying to get some good beef is incredibly hard. On top of that, religious extremists. 2 Muslim kids were literally murdered. Do you know why? They had a beef sandwich. So some Hindu extremists beat them to death. The worst part? The extremists were wrong. It wasn't even beef. On top of all that, they didn't even get in trouble. That our Prime Minister was on holiday when Australia was burning so heavily. That I could barely see the sun through the smoke some days. I can't afford health care or doctor's visits. How hard it is to meet new people. Because most people don't plan to get to know people they just met. Not everyone, of course. Germany. People complain too much about stupid things and celebrities are treated like gods and mentors. Politics are a joke, only certain people can succeed in politics. People will be people and much more. I live in a religious country, I am atheist. Where military is mandatory and the people are dumb AF. Can't wait to migrate to Canada. The country is so nice. Only if it was without people. UK, England. Transport. Bit of a weird one, but transport has become so unreliable that everyone drives by car cause it's easier. And traffic on the motorway. It's really bad if you live near a big city. It's divided by politics and media. Everything costs too much. South African here. I'm about to say some slightly controversial. In South Africa we have something called BEE. It's basically a system to allow people of color who were previously disadvantaged due to apartheid, which is a direct translation of apartheid, to be given priority in education systems and the workplace. I understand why they use the system. However, just because I'm white, even though I'm poor, I can't get any bursaries or scholarships even though I got insanely high marks at the end of high school. Me and my black mates at university actually joke about this every now and then. But deep down inside it bothers me because of how much pressure the costs of university my parents have to deal with. Also, B is used in sports, which I think is dumb. The best sports team should be with the best players. I hope I don't sound racist to people who don't understand the system. But basically most people of color in South Africa think the sport system is rubbish. It's just based on uneducated politicians' ideals. Also, most of our politicians didn't even go to high school. People mistake me and other citizens in my country as Australians. It's not that fun. Prices for housing are truly up. I gave up the idea of owning something years ago. Edit. We had us. UK, Australia, NZ, Canada. None of these were correct. UK is close-ish by comparison. Edit 2. Someone found it by cheating smiley face. It is in the comment chain. Corporations have bought our freedom in the name of capitalism while actually practicing an oligarchy. As an Israeli, I apologize on behalf of the whole country for being the home of the company that made Raid Shadow Legends. There's also that thing with the Palestinians, but let's focus on the more important issue. On a more serious note, my country has many issues not unlike any other. A shish-t show of a political system. Failing health care and education systems. Separation of religion and state or lack thereof. And yes, also the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, of course. Switzerland. Everything is so expensive. Like the monthly earnings per person are very high, but imagine an immigrant like myself and my mom. We saved up for 2 years and still almost had to go back to Portugal. Another thing that is really bad. Dogs need dog insurance. And it's also very expensive. The internet infrastructure. Due to the telecom owning all of the infrastructure, they have basically the monopoly and competitors need to pay to use them. Which causes us to have some of the slowest internet in the EU on average. The only other option is Vodafone due to owning Kabel Deutschland. Because they use TV cables instead of an outdated copper cables that telecom use. The problem being that not everyone has the necessary infrastructure to get that service from Vodafone and are stuck, like me, paying $50 a month for a 1/10 of the performance that cable internet could do for the same price. You telecom, you piece of greedy. Sincerely. Angry Prussian. It's not where I'm from but where I currently live. The bluntness and unapologetic curiosity. People will literally ask you personal questions just because they want to know. And especially in the workplace. Minor pet peeves: the public transport system and people not realizing how tiny the country actually is. 2 hours to the other side of the country is not a long time. When I first started dating, my so lived 45 minutes from me and I've literally gotten comments on my long-distance relationship. I've taken longer in the bathroom. The need to always be number one at everything. Even dumb things like being the number one slow driver in the fast lane. All the hatred politics drums up. Our two-party system is busted for sure, but it's devolved to, oh, you vote for them? You're racist and uneducated, against, oh, you vote for them? You're a crybaby who just wants handouts cause you're too lazy to contribute to society. Other than boomers maybe. Most repubs aren't racist. And most Dems have jobs and aren't economically illiterate. We paint with broad strokes and it's inappropriate. I don't want to know how you voted. If I'm gonna hate you, it's gonna because I saw your character for myself. We let politics divide us more than anything. It feels like there's some type of political class war going on all the time. And TBH, it didn't start with this president. It's just getting much worse under him. Australia's absolute joke of housing prices. Thank you foreign buyers and greedy baby boomers. The healthcare system and how most life-saving surgeries cost $10,000 plus on average without insurance. Also how 6 months worth of insulin costs over $200 with insurance when it costs less than $20 to make. Nothing. Goddamn, I love New Zealand. The fact that everyone think we just have the Tour Eiffel and we only had revolutions all the time. No. We had one revolution. The French Revolution. The Gillette's Johns. Yellow Jackets. Didn't do revolution. Pakistan does not really get the spotlight, and as I have noticed, the majority of the people around the world do not really know who Pakistanis are. I am probably a minority in my country to despise this, but let's see how many Pakistani Redditors will agree or disagree with me. What I despise about Pakistan is religion. Yes. I am sick and tired of religion playing the central role in the lives of Pakistanis. Seriously, they have stupid beliefs where they sit and do nothing and just pray hoping they will be rewarded by God for their prayers. Meaning, suppose they are looking for a job. They would spend more than half the time praying and hoping God will guide them. I mean, what? Then if they screw up, They proudly blame it on something called destiny. Seriously, where is your sense of responsibility? When you come to them asking help with something really important, they simply say, "Don't worry. God will help you." Dude, I was just robbed. I need urgent help now desperately, and you're telling me God will help me? What is wrong with you? They would judge anyone whom they see not practicing Islam but will never be violent. E.g., if you do not fast during Ramadan and light a cigarette, they would probably judge you and criticize you but will never be violent. They secretly want alcohol and probably have tried it in their life, yet they would criticize anyone who would admit drinking. Another example is in loans. Some people will opt for Islamic banking instead of taking interest when they do not realize that Islamic banks charge them interest with a different name, which is something like a rent. Our finance sector is struggling. I have a friend who was a trader in Pakistan. A smart guy with CFA Level 3 qualification. He suddenly decided to quit finance just because it involves interest and it is haram. I mean, what the heck? You threw away a promising career for religion? They twist religion to suit their needs. Another friend who enjoys smoking hashish argues with me that smoking hashish is better than drinking alcohol because hashish is not haram. Do you hear yourself? Men would have with many women, including prostitutes, yet would prefer a virgin wife who is traditional. Oh yes. Did you think how traditional you are after sleeping around? What do we get? We get a generation of liars. Women lie to their husbands to be that they never had, and men the same. Why not just accept each other for who we are? Religion is everywhere in Pakistan. In government, education, judiciary, culture. You name it, and it makes me tired. Really tired. I am a pragmatic man who believes in reality and hard work while respecting others' beliefs, not worshipping a supernatural power for days and do nothing while judging anyone who does not agree with me. I also despise the fact that certain ethnicities who portray themselves as pro-Indian in Pakistan, that makes up about 66% of Pakistani population, Punjabis, Sindhis, Mahahirs, majority but not all of them, claim that all Pakistanis are Indians and we are the same people. Do not get me wrong. I have nothing against India and I love my countrymen, but coming from a Pashtun family, I take real offense when these people speak for me. Pashtuns have nothing to do with India. Request to my fellow countrymen. Please consider whole of the Pakistani population when speaking for Pakistan. The attitude of the people. USA. Gerrymandering by our two-party incumbents puts a death grip of ownership of offices from the local to the national level. We have still people who identifies with Nazis and deny the Holocaust. Weather. Canada used to be known as nice and friendly. Now parts of the country are just America Junior, filled with hate and racism. Australia. Although a great country, our education system is severely in need of a look at. Just my personal experience. Every state runs off their own systems. Now, with my dad being in the Air Force, we were sent all around the country as a kid and went to a lot of schools. There's a few times I would go interstate and have to relearn things. Or be learning things that I didn't know the prior stuff too. We don't have any mountains in the Netherlands. India. The caste system. Anytime someone brings up a valid criticism about Canada, the go-to response here is, well, the US is worse. Be thankful you live here. And thus it is difficult to make progress. That I'm judged for its actions. You don't get to choose where you are born. The prejudice and racist behaviors of people are global.